Elegance in Betrayal, cheating stories of a wife's cruel departure. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, drop a comment, and subscribe to Viora for more unforgettable stories that speak to the heart. She walked out the door without a word, leaving me in a hospital bed fighting for my life. Her silence wasn't just a lie. It was the start of cheating stories that would break our family apart. My name's Nathan Carter. I'm 35, a logistics manager with a steady life in a quiet Seattle suburb. My wife, Emily, 33, was my college sweetheart, the woman who danced with me in our dorm to cheesy 90s pop, her laughter brighter than the sun. We built a life together. 2 kids, Sophie, 5, and Ben, 3. A cozy 3-bedroom house with a backyard swing set, and a routine that felt like home. We weren't rich, but we were comfortable, our savings just shy of $1 million, enough for a minivan and college funds. Mornings were my favorite. Emily's coffee brewing, Sophie's giggles, Ben's sticky fingers on my shirt. I'd kiss their heads, brush Emily's forehead, and head to work, my heart full. This was us, imperfect but happy. I never thought I'd live a cheating wife story. I believed in Emily, in us. But sometimes, the people you trust most write the cruelest cheating stories. And mine started on a day I'll never forget. It was a Tuesday. I woke up to Sophie's chatter about her school project, Ben tugging at my sleeve for pancakes. Emily was in the kitchen, her hair in a messy bun, her smile soft as she handed me coffee. "Don't forget Laura's teacher meeting," I said, kissing her forehead. "Pizza tonight?" She nodded, but her eyes didn't meet mine. She grabbed her bag, walked out, and that was it. The last time I saw her for years. No goodbye, no glance back, just the click of the door. By noon, I was doubled over at work, a sharp pain ripping through my stomach. My boss drove me to the hospital where doctors rushed me into surgery. Appendicitis, they said, but my appendix had burst, leading to sepsis. I was in and out of consciousness, monitors beeping, my body burning. I called for Emily, my voice weak, but she wasn't there. Nurses tried her phone. My parents left voicemails, but nothing. Emily was gone, leaving me on the edge of death, our kids with my mom, and no explanation. The first twist hit in the hospital. As I fought infection, my parents took Sophie and Ben, their small faces confused when they visited. "Where's Mommy?" Sophie asked, her eyes wide. I didn't know. My sister, Hannah, checked Emily's social media. Nothing recent, just old photos of us smiling. Her office said she'd taken personal leave. I lay there, tubes in my arms, wondering if she'd been in an accident, if she was hurt. But deep down, a seed of doubt grew, the start of an emotional cheating story I couldn't ignore. I got out after 3 weeks, weak but alive. The house was too quiet when I returned. Emily's closet was half empty, her favorite dresses, her red coat, gone. No note, no divorce papers, just absence. I checked our bank accounts. Withdrawals, small but steady, to a card I didn't recognize. Her phone was disconnected. I sat on our couch, Sophie's stuffed bunny in my lap, and felt the weight of a wife betrayal confession that didn't need words. She'd left us, not just me, but our kids, without a trace. The second twist came from a friend, Mike, who'd seen Emily months earlier at a bar, laughing with a man he didn't know. "I didn't think much of it," Mike said, his voice low. "But she looked happy, Nate." I dug deeper, hating myself for it. Old texts on her laptop, one she hadn't deleted, mentioned Caleb. Her college credit card statements showed hotel charges, dinners, trips I hadn't known about. This wasn't just a cheating wife story. It was a calculated escape, a life she'd built behind my back while I was fighting to survive. I didn't confront her. How could I? She was gone. I focused on Sophie and Ben, quitting my job for a remote one to be there for them. I read bedtime stories, braided Sophie's hair, taught Ben to tie his shoes. My parents helped, but the questions never stopped. "Why'd Mommy leave?" Ben asked one night, his voice small. I hugged him, my throat tight. "I don't know, buddy." I'd read Reddit cheating stories, searching for answers, but none prepared me for raising 2 kids alone. My heart broken not just by her affair, but by her abandonment. The third twist was the silence. Months passed, then a year. No word from Emily. No sign she'd ever existed except in our kids' fading memories. Sophie stopped asking for her. Ben forgot her voice. I rebuilt our life, new routines, therapy for me, playdates for them. We moved to a smaller house, still comfortable, but ours. I'd lie awake, the kids asleep, and wonder. Was she with Caleb, living a dream while I picked up the pieces? This infidelity story time wasn't about catching her cheating on camera. It was about surviving her absence. I didn't hate her, not fully. Hate was too heavy. I just wanted to protect Sophie and Ben, to give them a life where her betrayal didn't define them. But as I tucked them in, their small hands in mine, I knew this cheating wife caught moment wasn't the end. It was the start of a story I'd have to finish alone. Viora fam, what would you do if the person you loved vanished when you needed them most? Was I right to keep going without answers? Sometimes, the deepest betrayal isn't the affair. It's the silence that follows. But should I have searched for her? The Seattle rain drummed against the roof of our new house. A smaller place with creaky floors and a backyard just big enough for Sophie's soccer games and Ben's toy trucks. Their laughter filled the gaps Emily's absence left. But at night, when the kids slept, the silence was deafening. Her betrayal, walking out while I fought for my life in the hospital, abandoning our children, wasn't just a cheating wife story. It was a wound that bled into every corner of our lives. A shadow I couldn't outrun. I threw myself into being both parents. Sophie, now 6, needed help with math homework. Her brow furrowed as she tackled fractions. Ben, 4, clung to me at preschool drop-offs, his small hand gripping mine. I worked remotely, managing logistics contracts from a cluttered home office. The glow of my laptop a constant companion. My parents took the kids on weekends, giving me moments to breathe. But even then, Emily's ghost lingered. I'd find Sophie's old drawings of Mommy in a drawer, or Ben would hum a lullaby she used to sing, and the pain would hit fresh, a reminder of this infidelity story time that had no closure. I stopped looking for her after the first year. The bank statements dried up, her social media went dark, and Caleb's name vanished from the clues I'd pieced together. My sister, Hannah, urged me to hire a private investigator, but I refused. What's the point? I told her, stirring coffee in her kitchen. She chose to leave. I won't chase her. Hannah frowned, her voice soft. You deserve answers, Nate. But answers felt like chains. I wanted to be free, for Sophie and Ben, not trapped in a toxic relationship story that ended with Emily's silence. The fourth twist came at Sophie's school play. She was a sunflower, her face painted yellow, beaming as she swayed on stage. I clapped until my hands stung, Ben bouncing on my lap. Afterward, a teacher pulled me aside. Mr. Carter, she said, hesitating. A woman called the school last week, asking about Sophie. She said she was her mother. My stomach dropped. What did you tell her? I asked, my voice low. Nothing, the teacher said. We don't give out information. I nodded, but the news was a jolt, like lightning in this cheating stories saga. Was Emily back? Why now, after 2 years of nothing? I didn't tell the kids. Sophie was starting to forget Emily's face, and Ben only knew her from photos. I checked my phone, half expecting a message, but there was nothing. That night, I sat in the dark, the rain tapping the windows, and wrestled with my thoughts. Part of me wanted to confront her, to demand why she'd left me dying, left our kids without a word. But another part, the part that braided Sophie's hair, that tucked Ben in, knew it wouldn't change anything. This wasn't a caught cheating on camera moment. It was a deeper betrayal, one that didn't need proof to hurt. Life pushed forward. I enrolled Sophie in soccer, cheering her on as she scored her first goal, her grin brighter than the sun. Ben started drawing, his crayons scribbling rockets and dogs across our fridge. I went to therapy, not often, but enough to unpack the anger I'd buried. You're carrying her choice like it's yours, my therapist said, her pen pausing. What if you let it go? I didn't have an answer, but the question stuck, a seed in this emotional cheating story. The fifth twist was a letter, slipped under my door on a rainy morning. No return address, just my name in Emily's handwriting. My hands shook as I opened it, expecting a wife-cheating confession, an apology, anything. Instead, it was short, "Nathan, I'm sorry. I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to know I'm alive. I won't contact you again." No mention of the kids, no explanation for her years with Caleb. I stared at the paper, the ink smudged by rain, and felt nothing. Not relief, not rage, just a hollow ache. I burned the letter in the backyard, the flames curling the edges, and told myself it was over. But it wasn't. The sixth twist came through a mutual friend, Lisa, at a coffee shop. She slid into the booth across from me, her face tense. "I saw Emily," she said, "in Tacoma at a diner. She looked rough, Nate. Said she's been alone for a while." I sipped my coffee, my jaw tight. "Did she mention the kids?" Lisa shook her head. "Just asked about you. Said she messed up." I nodded, the news a stone in my chest. This wasn't a revenge-cheating wife tale. I didn't want her pain. I just wanted my kids to be okay. I started noticing changes in myself. I laughed more, not the forced kind, but real. When Ben told silly jokes or Sophie narrated her day with wild gestures. I built a treehouse with my dad, the kids squealing as we hammered nails, the summer air thick with possibility. I dated once, a woman from work, but it didn't stick. She was kind, but my heart wasn't ready. "You're still healing," Hannah said, and she was right. This true cheating story had scarred me, but it hadn't stopped me. The seventh twist was Sophie's question, out of the blue. We were baking cookies, flour dusting her nose. "Dad," she said, "did Mommy hate us?" My heart stopped. I knelt, wiping her cheek. "No, Soph," I said, my voice steady. "Mommy made a choice, but it wasn't about you or Ben. You're perfect." She nodded, but her eyes held a doubt I couldn't erase. That night, I lay awake, the rain relentless, and wondered if I'd done enough to shield them from Emily's betrayal. The eighth twist was a call from an unknown number. I answered, expecting a client. It was Emily, her voice thin, almost unrecognizable. "Nathan," she said, "I'm in Seattle. Can we talk? Not for me, for the kids." My grip tightened on the phone. "You don't get to decide that," I said, calm but firm. "You left them." She sobbed, but I hung up, my hands shaking. This wasn't a wife affair exposed for drama. It was a line I'd drawn to protect Sophie and Ben. I focused on the kids. Sophie joined a science club, her experiments filling our kitchen with vinegar and baking soda volcanoes. Ben's drawings got better, his dogs now with wagging tails. I upgraded our house, adding a playroom, our finances stable from careful planning. The pain of Emily's cheating stories faded. Not gone, but softer, like a bruise that no longer throbbed. I was their dad, their anchor, and that was enough. But as I watched Sophie kick a soccer ball, Ben cheering her on, I wondered, would Emily try again? And if she did, could I keep her out of their lives? What would you do if the person who abandoned you begged to return? Not for you, but for the children you'd raised alone. The Seattle dawn painted the sky in soft pinks, filtering through the curtains of our home, where Sophie's science projects cluttered the kitchen counter and Ben's crayon drawings adorned the fridge. I stood by the window, coffee in hand, watching the neighborhood stir. 12 years had passed since Emily walked out, leaving me in a hospital bed and our children without a mother. Her betrayal, a cheating wife story that tore our family apart, had faded into a scar. Still there, but no longer raw. Sophie, now 17, was a fierce, curious teenager, her soccer trophies lining the shelves. Ben, 15, was quieter, his sketchbook filled with intricate designs. They were my world, and I'd built a life around them, steady and whole, despite the hole Emily left. Our routine was solid. I worked from home, managing logistics with a team I trusted, our finances secure enough for college funds and the occasional family trip. The kids thrived, Sophie aced her AP classes, Ben won an art contest. My parents, graying but spry, hosted Sunday dinners, their laughter a balm. I dated sparingly, a few kind women who didn't stick, my heart cautious but open. The rain still fell, as Seattle rain does, but it felt cleansing now, washing away the weight of Emily's silence. The ninth twist came at Sophie's soccer game. I was on the sidelines, cheering as she darted across the field, her ponytail swinging. Ben sat beside me, sketching the crowd. During halftime, I noticed a woman near the bleachers, her coat pulled tight, her face half hidden by a scarf. Something about her stance, the way she tilted her head, felt familiar. My breath caught. Emily? I blinked, and she was gone, swallowed by the crowd. I scanned the faces, my heart racing, but found nothing. Was it her, or just a ghost of this infidelity story time haunting me? I didn't tell the kids. They hadn't asked about Emily in years, their memories of her reduced to vague impressions. A song, a scent. Sophie once found an old photo of her, tucked in a box, and shrugged. "She's just a stranger now," she'd said, her voice matter-of-fact. Ben never mentioned her, his drawings free of the mommy figures he'd once scribbled. I'd shielded them from her betrayal, but the possibility of her return stirred a fear I hadn't felt in years. This wasn't a caught cheating on camera moment. It was the dread of reopening a wound. The 10th twist was a knock at the door, late one evening. Sophie was at a friend's, Ben upstairs with his headphones. I opened it, expecting a neighbor, but there she was, Emily, older, thinner, her hair streaked with gray, her eyes hollow but alive with something like regret. She wore a worn coat, her hands twisting nervously. "Nathan," she said, her voice a whisper. I didn't know if you'd open the door." I stared, my pulse steady despite the storm inside. "What do you want?" I asked, my tone flat. She swallowed, her gaze dropping. "To see them, Sophie, Ben. To explain." I stepped outside, closing the door behind me, the rain misting my face. "You don't get to walk back in," I said. "Not after 12 years. Not after you left me dying." Left them without a word. Her eyes filled with tears, but I felt no urge to comfort her. This wasn't a wife-cheating confession for redemption. It was too late for that. She spoke, her voice breaking. "I was wrong, Nathan. Caleb, it was a mistake. He left me years ago. I've been alone, scraping by, and all I can think about is them." She sank to her knees, sobbing. "Please, just one chance to see my kids." I looked down at her, the woman I'd loved, now a stranger begging on my porch. My anger was gone, replaced by a quiet resolve. "They don't know you," I said. "They don't need to." I turned, went inside, and locked the door, her cries muffled by the rain. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in the living room, Sophie's soccer jersey folded on the couch, Ben's sketchbook open to a drawing of a starry sky. Emily's return wasn't about her. It was about them. Should I tell them? Let them decide? Sophie was old enough to understand, Ben sensitive enough to hurt. I'd spent years protecting them from this true cheating story, but now the choice loomed, heavy as the Seattle clouds. The 11th twist was Sophie's discovery. A week later, she came home from school, her backpack slung over one shoulder. "Dad," she said, dropping onto the couch. Someone messaged me on Instagram, said she was, "Mom." My heart sank. I sat beside her, searching her face. "What did she say?" Sophie shrugged, her voice steady but her eyes uncertain. "She wants to meet. Said she's sorry." I didn't reply. I nodded, my throat tight. "Do you want to?" She looked away, twisting a bracelet. "I don't know. She left us. Why is she back now?" I told her the truth. Emily's visit, her plea, her years with Caleb. Sophie listened, her jaw tight. "She didn't care when you were sick," she said. "When we needed her." Ben overheard, creeping downstairs, his sketchbook clutched to his chest. "Is she really here?" he asked, his voice small. I hugged them both, the rain tapping outside. "She's in town," I said. "But you don't have to decide anything. I'm here no matter what." This wasn't a husband revenge story. It was a father's promise to let his kids choose. They didn't reach out. Sophie blocked the account. Ben stayed quiet. Life went on: school projects, art shows, soccer games. I watched them closely, ready for questions, but they seemed to settle, their world intact. I wondered if Emily would try again, but months passed without a sign. I heard through a friend she'd left Seattle, maybe for good. The news brought no relief, just a quiet acceptance. This emotional cheating story wasn't about her anymore. It was about us. I started coaching Sophie's soccer team, my whistle a new rhythm in our days. Ben's art got bolder, his sketches now of cities and skies, not just dogs. I met a woman, Rachel, at a parent meeting, kind, steady, with a laugh that warmed the room. We took it slow, coffee turning to dinners, her presence a soft light in my cautious heart. She knew about Emily, asked gentle questions, and listened when I answered. "You're a good dad," she said once, squeezing my hand. It was enough. One night, Sophie and Ben sat me down. "We talked," Sophie said, her voice firm. "We don't want to see her. Not now, maybe not ever." Ben nodded, his eyes clear. "You're enough, Dad." I hugged them, tears stinging. The rain outside a steady hum. They'd chosen their path, and I'd chosen mine. To keep them safe, to let Emily's betrayal fade into the past. I forgave her in my own way, not for her but for me. I could stand before the woman who destroyed us and feel nothing. No need for vengeance. No pull to punish. This cheating story's saga ended not with a bang, but with a quiet strength. A family rebuilt on love that didn't run. Like what you heard. Hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Viora, because the next story might just be your favorite one yet. Forgiveness doesn't mean opening the door again. It means walking away without hate. But was I right to decide for them?